for talking to me. So, okay, big vote coming this week to keep the government open. Do you have the votes?
We'll pass it. Yeah, we'll keep the government open. People understand a shutdown is not a good thing.
I mean, there seems to be some holdouts on your side of the aisle, but you have the votes?
Manu, there's always people who want to discuss all this stuff. That's what they're here for. They want to talk about the details. This is a very simple bill, though. You're talking about 90-some pages. 24 actually are the clean CR part with a bump in security because of the assassination last week. There was a request from the White House for more money for security for the Supreme Court, for the executive branch, and the House has a little bump. Other than that, you've got extenders of programs that are already there. That are the rest of the pages. It's very simple. It's going to get passed out of the House, and I believe it'll pass the Senate.
Tomorrow night it'll pass the House?
It'll pass when it's brought to the floor.
You're not sure when yet?
I'm trying not to get in front of the Speaker. The Speaker will decide when it comes to the floor. The latest that it'll come to the floor is Friday morning.
Okay. So then the Senate Democrats are already making very clear that they plan to block this bill over there. So then what happens next?
You can't believe a word the Senate Democrats are saying. I mean, when you talk
they have the votes. If they want to block it, they can.
When you talk about Senate Democrats, are you talking about Senator Shaheen? Are you talking about Senator Fetterman? You're talking about the minority leader in the Senate, and he's been known to do this in the past. Chuck Schumer knows that a shutdown is a bad idea.
You think he's going to fold?
Chuck Schumer is not going to shut the government down. We're going to keep the government open. This is Republicans and Democrats understand that's a bad thing.
But he says that this bill is a non-starter. They have the votes to block this over there. And if he does, what's plan B?
Well, if he would somehow be that foolish, and I mean, you could question his intellect at times. That would be royally foolish if he did that.
Why do you say that?
Because he'd own it. Democrats will own it. Everyone understands Republicans and Democrats have been working together in the House and the Senate. There are 3 bills right now that are very close to being done. The leader can say whatever he wants in the minority, and ultimately it doesn't get him very far. He did the same thing last February, March, when we passed that CR, and obviously, Manu, they kept the government open.
He says this is different because they're fighting on the issues of health care in particular. He says they want to reverse the cuts that were in the One Big Beautiful Bill. They want to also deal with extension of these Obamacare subsidies. Is that something you would be open to? Any health care negotiations is part of this?
So they want to reverse the reforms to Medicaid that eliminated or made sure that 1.4 million illegals who should not be on the program are not there. They want to restore the waste, fraud, and abuse that we actually cleaned up in the bill that we passed back in July and was signed into law.
Were you negotiating that with them?
That is not a winning message at all, and we'll have that fight all day. As for other things that you brought up, the Speaker said those are end-of-the-year issues. They're not part of this discussion. And I think Leader Thune has been very clear on that as well.
Do you support extending those Obamacare subsidies?
Again, I'm the whip. My job is to get everybody on board.
You have a position on that issue.
As the whip, you're not going to get my position on those issues because my job is to make sure that I support all of our members as they work through the issues that are most important to the people that they represent at home.
Politically, you understand the impact of health care, and you've been a former NRCC chair. You understand the politics of this. Are you worried about people's health care costs increasing right before the election, especially if these subsidies are not extended?
Actually, if you look at what we did, we protected the integrity of Medicaid for the people that it was intended for. We also, contrary to what gets reported, we also allowed the able-bodied working-aged adults that is also known as the Biden expansion population to remain on the program as long as they meet certain very modest work requirements. I think it's 20 hours a week. You got to be looking for a job that you document. 20 hours a week, you're volunteering at some acceptable.
We're talking about different things. I'm talking about health insurance.
Again, this is all related, right? Because health insurance is based on the cost of these programs. And when it comes to the savings that you're going to get from the Medicaid piece and also from the permanent tax policy menu, it's all going to be economic next fall. Most people will engage about a year from now. And yes, I'm very confident that we will be successful in the midterm.
What about just the economy in general? I mean, you look at jobless numbers are not looking good, inflation not looking good, consumer confidence not looking good. That's a problem for a party in power, is it not?
Well, actually, I think things are on the right path, Manu. If you look back...
Those are the economic indicators.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump has to clean up 4 years of Joe Biden's mess. Joe Biden created this problem, double-digit inflation that we hadn't seen in 40 years, out-of-control spending, waste, fraud, and abuse like this government, which has its problems with waste, fraud, and abuse, had never experienced before. A wide-open southern border. I think where we came from and where we are right now is a great first 6-7 months by Donald J. Trump and his administration and a Republican Congress. And where we're going to be in 5 or 6 months from now is even better.
What about the tariffs? I mean, there's real concern that these have not fully kicked in, and if they do, prices could increase even more. Do you share those concerns?
Well, it's interesting, your premise. Prices are actually coming down. You look at the price of eggs. You look at the price of
inflation is still on the rise, though, based on the last report.
That's great. When you don't want to talk about prices falling, you talk about inflation falling.
Just the numbers.
This is what people do in the talking head world. They want to talk about inflation when it's going up under Biden, but they'd rather talk about inflation going down and not the fact that prices are way up. In this
You don't
case,
think people feel this right now?
my people see the prices going down. Eggs are a great example. All the things that were a problem when Biden was in control, they're coming down. That's exactly what Donald J. Trump promised, and that's exactly what's happening.
I want to just, if you don't mind, there's an effort to try to create this commission here in the House to investigate so-called left-wing groups and fomenting violence and the like, or at least their speech and all. You've seen this from Chip Roy calling for this in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk. Do you think it makes sense to create some sort of commission or to investigate what's happening on the left?
You're asking the whip to step into areas that are actually up to the speaker, number one. Number two, I understand the Chip Roys and the others, why they're so frustrated. This is a left-wing problem. I mean, when you have a Rutgers poll that 55% of people who are on the left politically in this country think it's minimally acceptable to assassinate a president, a Republican president, that's unacceptable. And what happened last week was also unacceptable in this country, and to have a representative like mine at home, Ilhan Omar, say such disgusting things about it's okay for someone to assassinate a conservative that you disagree with, it's not okay in this country.
Do you think there's any issues on the right when it comes to violence?
This is a left-wing problem. There
Josh
is
Shapiro,
no question.
Christian Whitner.
Who's getting shot, Manu? It's
Gabby Giffords. This has been happening for some time. There
This
have
is
been
a
deficits on the
left-wing
left and the
problem.
right.
Absolutely a left-wing problem. There's an ABC poll. The word fascist has been used by certain stations on the left that represent left-leaning media regularly to describe Donald Trump, to describe Republicans.
He's called people
fascists too. This is a left-wing side.
He's called people fascists too.
This is a left-wing side. I'm not going to give you that. Donald Trump's been called everything in the book. He's been called a racist. He's been called a bigot. He's been called a fascist. There's the guy who's dealt with more of this. And you know what? He did it the right way. He fought this disagreement at the ballot box, and he won.
Last question.
And guess
I'll
what?
let you go.
Guess what? He won. That's what the left should do. Rather than getting violent, we should get back to what makes this country great. We should all have the honest, open, vigorous debate. But we shouldn't be shooting people like Charlie Kirk.
Last question. The governor of your state announced a bid for a third term. What was your reaction to that? Is he going to win?
Tim is one of the biggest failures going in this country. And it's interesting because there's a poll, there's a couple of them from back in June and July. Classic Minnesota nice when it comes to polling on Tim Walz. You got about 50% of Minnesotans who think Tim's doing a good job. You got about 50% of them who say he should never run again. It's the old, oh gosh, golly gee whiz, I don't want to see him run again.
Do you think he's the favorite?
Tim Walz? I think when there's a Republican that's been identified, we will have a Republican governor in the state of Minnesota.
Is that going to be you? Are you considering it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I've got really important stuff to do that you're pointing out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. All right. Thanks for talking.